Hey LEGO fans, it's time to talk about Blocks Magazine issue 138. I'm really chuffed to be talking you through this one. As ever, it's the highlight of my month when we get to launch a new issue of Blocks Magazine. If you don't know it, it is the ultimate magazine for LEGO fans. It's not much more complicated than that. And as you can see, we're going big on LEGO Pokémon this month. This is the biggest new license theme that the LEGO has introduced. I mean, possibly since Star Wars back in 1999. As everyone knows, Pokemon is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. It's never gone away. It reaches generation after generation. Everyone's grown up with it at this point, it feels like, and you've got to build them all. So Pikachu's bang front and center on the cover, representing some of the great content that we've got inside that we'll take a look at in a moment. And just to give you a big broad overview, very quick flash of the content spread, you can see we are absolutely packed with LEGO content in Blocks Magazine. We do not waste an inch of space to give you the best LEGO content possible, content you can't find on the internet, content that is only within our 116-page magazine that is available at blocksmag.com. So, Project Hail Mary. This is one of those films, as a lot of you have noticed, LEGO Icons in recent years has started to do one-off sets based on specific movies, like there was one for Dune, for example. And it's a new thing for the LEGO group just to do a one-off set like that as opposed to a whole theme. It's great when there is a film like Project Hail Mary that just hits, captures everyone's attention, is massive at the box office. We all go and see, we're all talking about it, and then we get to build something that's a souvenir from it. So here we give you the kind of news on the Project Hail Mary set. We've got some quotes from the designer and things. And then later in the magazine, you can read our review and find out what we thought about it. And do go and check out Daniel's videos elsewhere on the channel because he's a big fan of the book. So he's got some really interesting perspectives on the set. Now, as well as focusing on specific sets, fan builds and stuff within Blocks Magazine, we like to uncover the different areas of the hobby. So in this case, we're on the paper trail. We're looking into LEGO ephemera. So some people go beyond collecting sets, beyond collecting bricks, and collect the bits of paper that are supposed to be thrown away. Now, I'm sure some people out there can relate to this. As someone who works on a print magazine and books and things, I absolutely love stuff like this. I've got my own bonkers LEGO ephemera collection. But here, Matt Hocker explains his experience in collecting these random bits of paper, leaflets, flyers, catalogs, brochures and things, and explains why it's fun, why it's something he's passionate about, and also highlights some of the really interesting pieces from his collection that, I'm really curious to look at. There's things that really surprised me in there when we were putting this one together. But as the cover hinted at, Pokemon, right? That's probably going to be the biggest news from the LEGO group this year, I feel like. I know the LEGO group are super excited about Smart Brick and Smart Play, but I think for the fan base, Pokemon's the biggest deal. Like, this is a license that people have wanted the LEGO group to have for years and years and years. And here, model designer Peter Carmichael explains to us how he designed the biggest set in the theme. Now, the fascinating thing about this interview is it covers all facets of LEGO model design. Peter talks about how they concepted this stuff, how they got going on LEGO Pokemon in the first place. He teases us so much with all the different sketch models that they built of every Pokemon you could conceivably imagine. And then he talks about how they landed on this set, how they refined it, how he came up with a scale for it, and then the intricate details of each character that he had to capture. And he talks about why he used some of the techniques he used to get there. And then the bit that I found especially fascinating was just the logistics of designing a 6,000 plus piece LEGO set. Because it's one thing to design a 500 piece set, a 1,000 piece set. 6,000 pieces though, this is, and he's not building it like we would build a mock for ourselves. He's building it with the consumer in mind, thinking about how other people are going to build this. And I just can't get my head around how challenging that must have been, but really interesting to get his insights into it. I know you've probably got a vibe for it there, but even if you're not a massive Pokemon fan, it's still really interesting to hear about how he designed this model just from a LEGO perspective, kind of IP aside. Oh, and Grumpig, that is the reference. If anyone's not getting it, it is Grumpig. But back to the magazine, we're looking at this amazing spaceship build that Nick Trotter created. It's absolutely fabulous because, talking earlier about Project Hail Mary and things and amazing sci-fi movies, this looks like something that could have been designed for a movie. It's so elegant, it's so sleek. And hearing about how he developed it is really interesting. But then we pull out some of the techniques, tricks, element uses that we really love in this model and explain how you can replicate them in your own builds. So not only are you getting to admire someone else's creation, but you're getting a sense of how you can take inspiration from it when you're building your own things. And on the topic of kind of original builds and things that you won't find in official Lego instructions, we have got an awesome micro Razor Crest inspired by Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu in this magazine. And it is the most accurate tiny Razor Crest I've ever seen. My colleague Daniel Konstansky did a superb job on it. I'm so impressed by it. And I'm sure you're going to want to order the bricks and build that one for yourself with the instructions. We love going back to the classic Lego in Blocks magazine, right? Castle, Forestmen, Outlaws in the Woods. This feature tells you the origins of Forestmen. So it talks through the theme a little bit and the different sets that were released. But there's untold secrets in here that you have never read before about Forestmen. If you're a fan of that theme, like I am, you will love this. Like, just for the little tidbits that you get that have never been published anywhere before. And that's what I love about Blocks magazine, is that we can share these untold stories, sets that we've been talking about, thinking about for 40, 50 years even sometimes. We can get the deep dive details into them because we have the time and attention to detail to kind of do the research, to get everything right, and to make sure that we're bringing you the good stuff. We're bringing you the deep dives. And this article is written by Daniel, who I just mentioned, who is author of The Secret Life of Lego Bricks book. So, he's an expert. He's an authority on this stuff. But of course, Castle goes way beyond the official themes that were released. Castle has inspired so many fan creations, and Brickscalibur is one of the biggest online community Castle contests each year. And here we're pulling out some of the best builds from the latest round of Brickscalibur. There's some really fun stuff in there. Now, how do you learn the skills to create amazing mocks? Well, now you can do it at Lego House. Lego House have done the craziest thing. They have built a replica of the Lego Masters build room in the venue, and you can, for like an extra ticket price, go and have a tutorial in there. There's 3 different levels at the moment, different levels of difficulty, complexity, targeting different audiences. And in this interview, Head of Experience, Soren Boring Anderson, talks us through how they created LEGO Masters Academy, the physical practicalities of recreating the LEGO Masters build room, the thinking behind that, but then also how they developed these tutorials, how they made sure they were making something that isn't just like going to Lego class and sitting in a room and being taught something, but how they made it a fun, engaging experience that's inspired by the television show, but also sends you away having learned how to do something with your Lego bricks that either you didn't know how to do before, or maybe it kind of reinforces something that you were kind of vaguely aware of, but didn't necessarily understand the ins and outs of. Fascinating feature though. And this spread doesn't show it, but there's other pages of this feature in the magazine that show the progression of the room as it was being built. And it's amazing seeing it as a big empty husk, and then seeing it with all these like empty trays in there, and then seeing it with full trays of Lego bricks. We even have a picture of inside the Lego factory when all of the loose bricks are just like on the floor ready to be delivered. It's really good stuff. I always love seeing things like that. And we also have a review section in Blocks magazine where we look at different Lego sets and figure out what's good about them, what doesn't work so well about them. We give our take on it. The reviews team between us have literally built thousands and thousands of Lego sets over the years. So, we know what we're talking about, and we'll tell you if this is a set for you or not. So you can read these reviews, get a sense of which ones are for you and which ones aren't. We review the 4 Weapons Blacksmith. I don't think it'd be a huge spoiler to tell you that this is on the better end of the Lego set spectrum. We have good things to say about this. But elsewhere in this issue, we review Smart Play sets and FIFA sets, so you can find out what our take is on them. And again, just to give you a little tease, there are some sets that we think are wonderful, and there are other sets that we are not so fond of this month. Design Master Ellen Bowley stops by for building chat. This is where I sit down with her. We build a Lego set together, and whilst we're kind of distracted by building the set, we have a big, wide-ranging conversation about her career, how she ended up at the LEGO Group, the different things that she's worked on while she's there. And it's really interesting hearing how she was there for like the very early development stage of LEGO Dots, some of the cool stuff she's done on LEGO Friends, how she came to work on LEGO Wicked. Really interesting stories, really interesting perspectives. And if you dream of working at the LEGO Group one day, then you're going to get lots of interesting insights into what it's like to work there from this interview. And you never know, these things might help you when you're applying to work for the LEGO Group one day. And that is my preview. That's my taster. That's what I'm offering you up this month. What's in Blocks Magazine issue 138. It is available now at blocksmag.com as a single issue or as part of a subscription package. And a subscription package works out much cheaper than buying them individually. And it means that every single month that magazine lands on your doorstep. You've got 116 pages of solid LEGO content to sit down and enjoy in the old school way. Break away from the screen for a little while, have that relaxing time to engage with the content, read through it, get that big, nice overview of what's going on in the LEGO world, and get secrets that you can't get anywhere else, stuff that isn't online, that's only within the pages of Blocks Magazine. So I hope you really enjoyed this issue. Let us know in the comments what kind of stuff you want to see in future issues of Blocks Magazine, and we'll do our best to take all of that into account.